Another day in my life. So I unclogged the sinks the other day.
I've tried to record this video like 20 times and I'm really finding the words difficult. Right, so if you're new here, this is the kind of house that I grew up in, that I was raised in by my narcissistic mother. If you're not new here, then you've probably heard some of these conversations before and my ideas on why this type of hoarding behavior can sometimes be attached to narcissistic parenting. That was certainly the case for me, and looking back as an adult with some healing and with some proper psychological knowledge under my belt, I was able to look at that environment that I grew up in and see that and confirm to myself that yes, my mother was a narcissist, and this is why. In that video, you basically see what I grew up in, except my house was smaller and it was filled with animal feces because like the primary mechanism of my mom's hoarding was animals followed by trash and yard sale junk. After my dad left when I was between the ages of 8 and 10, my mom just spiraled. She just completely spiraled like that. That was it. Her health was going down the tubes and I was going down with her. She would leave me home alone for hours and hours and hours between the ages of, 10 to 18 in this house. There was animal feces all over the counters. The hallway, like the hallway in that video, it was very similar, except in ours, it was that way because every time you flush the toilet in the bathroom, the hallway would flood with sewage, which would leak under my bedroom door. We didn't have laundry because the roof of the laundry room caved in and my mom just went, "Don't have money to fix it." Her bedroom was filled with animal waste. Even years after we did manage to leave the house, the carpet was still wet with animal urine. I was sick all the time. I would miss 20 to 30 days of school each year, and my teachers, especially in middle school, "Hey, Coach Crowder," would bully me and harass me in front of all my peers and call me lazy and stupid and then tell them I was skipping school when that's the house I was living in. I realize now that I was obviously going to school smelling like that, but I was so intense that no one would dare tell me except for my brother, who's 13 years older than me, who once made fun of me for smelling like the house that I was living in with my mom. How did I know that this made my mom a narcissist looking back as an adult? A lot of it clicked when I learned that narcissistic parents always provide the same quality of life that they had to their children. They don't want to see their children do better. And my mom had quite an adverse childhood, and she was really physically sick. So she made sure that I ended up physically sick too. The really big confirmation came from me though, when my dad described, he didn't know because he was never allowed in the house, described years later, once he was able to take back over the house, he walked inside and started crying because the suffering in that house was so apparent. My mom knew I was suffering in that house. She knew, and she made me stay in it for a minimum of 8 years when she had the money and the options to do otherwise. She knew I was being humiliated. She knew I was getting sick. She knew it was making my life worse, and she gave me that childhood anyway. She was aware, and that's the narcissistic parent.